get started, I just want to take a moment to thank all of my supporters and everyone for supporting my channel. You know, my YouTube channel would not be where it's at today without all of my supporters. So with that being said, let's get on down to today's lecture, which is homeless content creators and the reason why. I have listened to many of homeless content creators on various platforms. I have had real life conversations with homeless people in the real world. You know, I'm a people person. And so I've been wanting to talk about this topic for a while now. It just seems to become so popularized with you seeing so many young content creators, homeless, living out of their cars, creating content on a daily basis. And, I'm the type of person, because I'm a licensed therapist, even though I'm retired, I do a lot of listening and I do a lot of observing, and I ask thought-provoking questions with many homeless people. I've had real conversations in the real world. I'm listening to these homeless content creators on all of these social media platforms. And one of the commonalities that I've discovered is, they're filming their content on a daily basis. They're showing their homelessness lifestyle, living out of the car on a daily basis. And they'll, do live footage throughout the day on just living in their car and making content and talking about various types of topics. But one of the things I'm observing is, from many of the ones that I'm observing, is I don't hear them talking about job search. I don't hear them talking about, looking for jobs, or, because they got their cell phone, so they're paying a cell phone bill. So with today and time, you can go online and apply for jobs. You can go on Indeed and apply for jobs, word of mouth, And when I'm just out and about, going places in the real world, a lot of employers, people are hiring all over the place. I've been retired now, September made 2 years, and without even looking, I've been offered so many jobs to the point where I have to say no 4 or 5 times. You see hiring signs everywhere, because for whatever reason, many people don't want to work. So employers, they're in dire need of, wanting to hire people full-time, part-time, $18, $19, $20 an hour. You got to start somewhere, but it's better than being homeless. Companies are hiring. All you got to do now these days is put forth a little effort, especially if you know somebody, word of mouth. So when I'm listening to a lot of these homeless content creators, I don't hear none of them talking about, these amount of jobs I applied for this week, or I'm going to go check on this job, because trust me, the companies are hiring. I don't hear them talking about that, but they're filming their everyday comings and goings in terms of being homeless, a lot of them on these social media platforms begging for money. And these are young people, relatively young people in their 20s, in their 30s, below 40 years old, young men and women, young men and women on these social media platforms. And it's like they popularize being homeless people. And that's no way to live. To each his own, but in reality, that's no way to live. I've seen people living out of their cars with children. Come on now. That's no way to raise your child. I'm just keeping this thing real. I'm keeping it real. I'm talking about young, able-bodied people. And another big reason why you see so many homeless content creators, because they have the mindset, I'm going to become this content creator, make a whole lot of money and not work for nobody. But in reality, people, it ain't that easy. My channel's been monetized for going on 3 years. And I got brand deals, but it don't matter how much money I make from YouTube on a monthly basis. I tell anybody, never let YouTube become your primary source of income. No, because that money can fluctuate. You can't base your livelihood on waiting on a YouTube check. I got my retirement checks, a couple of them for the rest of my life. So whether I was a content creator or not, I got my primary source of income. I still make money under my company, Parents and Associates Resource Center. That generates revenue. And then I get royalty from my sales of my book. So I have multiple streams of income. YouTube is just a caveat to all of that. But I tell people, I think a mistake that a lot of these homeless content creators are making, they got this mindset, oh, I'm just going to be this content creator and I'm going to create all this content and make a whole lot of money. But I'm going to tell you something, even after you become monetized, it still takes significant time before you begin to see significant money. You may make a little bit here and there, but I'm gonna tell you where the real money is, people. The real money is when you start getting those brand deals as a content creator. My channel became eligible August of 2024 for major brand deals, but at that time, I had already been monetized. August of 2024, I had well over 300,000 subscribers. So you ain't no just wake up as a content creator making significant money. So in the meantime, homeless content creators, in the meantime, while you're trying to make significant money off YouTube, in the meantime, you need to get a job. You need to get a career job. And so you can be able to sustain yourself, take care of yourself. Because waiting on a YouTube chat, you can't base your livelihood off that, because if you do, many people have tried, you will end up homeless and you won't be able to rise above homelessness. YouTube should just be considered another source of income, not your primary source of income. Another good reason why you should not base your livelihood in regards to, I think, why a lot of these homeless content creators are homeless, because number one, once you do become monetized, monetized content creators, we get a 1099 at the end of the year to reflect our revenue for the whole year. So when you're 1099, you consider an independent contractor. So even if you are making significant money as a content creator, as an independent contractor, you still got to be wise with that money. You got to be strategic with that money. You got to budget that money. You're going to have to pay into your own Social Security. You're going to have to pay into your own 401. You're going to have to purchase your own medical insurance, dental insurance for yourself and your kids. And that can be a lot of money if you do not have a real primary W-2 career job simultaneously while you are a content creator. So a lot of these homeless content creators, they don't want to embrace that mindset. Being a content creator world is, in reality, is a business. And I tell anybody, it does not make good business sense, even if you are monetized, to just base your livelihood on one stream of income. Really? Come on now. We all know the power of having multiple streams of income. So if you are a content creator trying to get monetized, or you trying to increase your financial revenue as a content creator, that don't mean you quit your job. Or if you don't have a job, you need to get one. You need to get a full-time job so you can take care of yourself, take care of your kids, keep a roof over your head, pay into your retirement, pay into your 401, pay into your medical, pay into your dental. That's what you call accountability and responsibility rule. And all of this, what I'm talking about, I believe is a huge contributing factor in regards to why you see a lot of homeless content creators. They're trying to base their livelihood off, if they are monetized, off that little YouTube chat, and then they don't want to buckle down and get a full-time W-2 career job where they can have a primary source of income so they can be able to take care of themselves and keep a roof over your head. That's what you call accountability and responsibility, people. Real talk. This is real talk. I've been wanting to touch bases on this for a while because it just seems to have become so popular. You're seeing all of these young people, in the below the age of 40, below the age of 30, young, healthy, able-bodied men and women, homeless, living out of their car and creating content to be a content creator. I'm telling you, there are other options. I'm not saying you can't be no content creator. What I'm saying is being a content creator is something that you should do simultaneously while you are also working a full-time W-2 job with benefits, people, so you can be able to take care of yourself and keep a roof over your head versus being homeless, living in your car, and a content creator and begging for money. Yeah, that's another piece to it. And begging for money, and they have many of these homeless content creators got this expectations that people supposed to cash out them money. Cash out them money so they can buy whatever they want to buy, versus getting out there and getting a job and taking care of yourself. That's another thing. It just seems to be so popularized where folks are so comfortable and just begging for money from strangers on social media. You know, what happened to sense of pride and being accountable and responsible and etc. You know, I'm telling you, you can go on any social media platform and put in the search engine homeless content creators, and so many people will pop up. I mean, people of all ages, in their 20s, the 30s, the 40s, and sometimes even older, where they have made it popular in terms of being a homeless content creator versus getting out there and get a job. Because folks, I'm telling you, jobs are out there. And because people don't want to work, jobs are out there. Companies are hiring all kind of jobs, full-time, part-time benefits. If you really want a job, trust me, if you really want a job, especially putting in word of mouth, talk to people who you know got jobs, because I guarantee you, you can talk to 5 people you know right now who has a job and getting up and going to work every day. And if you ask all 5 of those people, is your job hiring? I would guarantee you all 5 of them will say, yes, they are hiring. It might not be what you want, but it would be a full-time salary, and it'd be better than being homeless living in your car. Trust me, if you were to ask 5 people today that you know, 5 different people who are working a job, and if you were to ask them, is your job hiring, all 5 of them would say yes. And then if you were to ask them, could you put in a good word with your supervisor, I'm interested in working, and they will put that word in, but your behind got to be ready to go to work, real talk. So share this information. That's all I have on this topic. Simplify, Simple Fidelis, and I'm going to leave you in the care of your own conscience. Have a great day.